Hey, it's Mike over at fishyourassoff.com, and today what we're talking about is winter fishing for trout. It's December right now. You got to kind of change your fishing strategies in the wintertime versus the spring and the summertime when the water's warmer. Got to remember, fish are cold-blooded, so they're just looking for the right temperature and having food around for them. To eat, obviously, so they can't regulate their own body temperature, so the environment does it for them. So instead of in the summertime when you got to get out there to crack of dawn and you're done fishing by maybe noon because the water's too hot, the reverse is true when you're doing wintertime trout fishing. So trout fishing in the wintertime, I'd get up late. You know, I might not get on the water till 9 or 10. To start my fishing day, where I'll be on the water before the sun comes up in the summertime. So we're just going to talk about different tips and techniques on winter fishing for trout. So here we go. All right. Winter fishing for trout. I just talked about this, but get up late. There's no rush. The bite's going to get better during the day as the water warms up anyways, so there's no sense killing yourself, you know, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, get ready. You can just roll out of bed whenever and get on the water by 9 or 10. You're fine. The water's warming up. As you start your day when it's really cold, now a trout is a very cold water tolerant fish. You know, they're in the drum family like a redfish. Both of them can handle pretty cold water. So you can catch them right off the get-go, but what I would do and what I do is I'll go deep early. So that's when I'll fish the deeper channels, you know, any cuts, any river, creek mouths or river mouths where it's at least 10, 12 feet of water. You know, you're going deep early. So like normally in the summertime, I'm fishing between maybe 3 and 5 feet deep. In the wintertime, I might be fishing as deep as 10 or 12 feet deep. You got to find those deep holes because the water temperatures are going to be better for them down there until the sun heats up the mud flats and all those different you know, areas, the grass flats, the mud flats, where it's really going to get warmed up quickly. So you go deep early and you go shallow late. So come 11, 12 o'clock, you know, the sun's really been putting all its energy into those shallow waters, especially a dark mud flat and dark grass flats. That water is a lot warmer than it will be in the deep spot. So they'll move to the shallow and start looking for their food there. So, you know, this is tide dependent too, obviously. You know, tide's coming in, tide's coming out. But it's really about temperature. It's about temperature and forage in the wintertime for these fish. And then this one right here, number 4, is you really want to slow down your retrieve when you're fishing for trout in the wintertime. Because they are cold-blooded. They're going to move a lot slower in the wintertime than they would normally when the water is an optimal temperature for them. But I want to go over some baits. So baits for these trout, if you're gonna get out there rather early, you want something that goes deep for the early sessions, and I have some right here. You know, a lot of people think that something like this, some sort of jig, that's, you know, I use these for snook, but they're great for redfish and trout too. This is a 1 ounce. You know, I pour these myself and tie them. This is great for catching trout. You know, maybe. I mean, this is probably the better color for it, but you can go with other colors too if you want to with these. You know, they like orange things, they like pink things, but you know, just your basic jig like this is great for getting down 10, 12 feet deep. Always a spoon. You get a weedless spoon, let it sink down there, bounce it on the bottom of wherever you are or near the bottom. You know, you'll probably catch trout on it. This is a silver one. The gold ones work better, but I didn't have a gold one on me. But it's a great weedless spoon to get down there real deep. Or you just have a jig. I mean, that's not enough. That's only 1/8 ounce. But, you know, get a 1/2 ounce or even more to get down there real deep with your jig head and your soft plastic, whatever those are. Here's the big DOA. I love this lure. This is a great lure for going down deep for whatever. It's the larger size DOA. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Big Eyes. It's not Terrorize, it's the size bigger. But this is real heavy and gets down there real deep, and this is Glow. I like Glow, White, and Root Beer are really the 3 colors I use a lot. When I'm fishing for tarpon and snook and other things, I'll have some chartreuse in there too, but those really seem to work well for trout. And Here are some of the plastics I use. I fish with this probably 90% of the time when I'm fishing with lures. It's a DOA cow. It's a pearl color with a paddle tail. I'll have a red head on that, and I fish with this mostly. But also I like these. Here's a dark zoom. You know, this is just a fluke, you know, like a bass bait. That's a dark one, so that's basically a root beer. And here's a white one. And I'll just put some sort of, you know, weedless worm hook on there. And these are when I want it to sink faster. It's a little heavier. And these are when I want it to sink more slowly. So these are a lot lighter. And you got to have gulp. Everything likes gulp. So here's some gulps, but they're expensive, you know, and I understand that, and you're going to lose a lot of them. So that's why, you know, these zooms and DOAs are real cheap. And probably the best rig there is, if you ask me, for trout, is the old popping rig. Rattling cork, come on down with some leader to a fake shrimp. That'll catch you just about every trout that's around them. They just can't say no to this bait for whatever reason. You know, that's really the one. So as far as our baits go, we covered deep divers early, popping corks and soft plastics late. I'm telling you, you know, a lot of people don't bother to fish in the wintertime, but you should. I'm telling you right now, there are plenty of fish there. The fish are still there. They changed their pattern. You know, you just got to go out a little bit later, which is great, because I don't like waking up at 4 in the morning to go fishing. I'd much rather wake up at 7 or 8, take my time, get on the water by 9 or 10. But you can find more of this information right on our website. It's www.fishyourassoff.com. We have how-to sections, where to fish, what to target, different bait selections, all that you'll find right there. It's basically simple tips for fishermen to catch more fish is really what the whole website's about. But I think that's about it for today. So until next time, we'll see you then. All right, bye-bye.